Atmabodha Class 10 Summary. Om Namo Narayana. Pranam Swamiji. Welcome everyone. In the last class, after Panchakosha separation in the 17th sloka, the special quality of buddhi is discussed. Buddhi or antakarana has a special quality that supports knowledge. The mind is said to be a unique instrument that can reflect the consciousness, the Chaitanya. It is said in the 17th sloka that although Atma is all-pervading, it does not shine in everything. Just as the reflection of the sun happens in a clear mirror and not in one that is covered with impurities. We also need a purified intellect for this. When we say that the intellect is a medium, we should not mistake this to mean that Atma can only be understood through the intellect. Atma is beyond intellectual understanding. Intellectual understanding is for logical analysis and rational understanding. Intellectual understanding is only paroksha jnanam. How did the intellect get this quality? It is because the intellect is formed from the sattvic portion of the 5 panchabhutas. The same idea continues in the 18th sloka further. The elucidation of Atma in connection with body, mind, and matter is discussed. The point that is stressed here is that the Atma's witnesshood in connection with BMIs, body, mind, intellect complex. Maya, Prakriti, is the causal body. Deha is the gross body. Mind, intellect, and senses are the subtle body. When it is stated that Atma reflects only in mind, we should not think that Atma is always with the mind. The example given is the king who is only a witness and in whose presence all the functions are carried out. Self is the witness of everything, of all duality. We can only meditate on this Sakshi Bhava. In the 19th sloka, Swamiji explained that the moon, who is stationary, appears to be running when the clouds move. In the same way, for a non-discriminative person and aviveki, the Atma seems to be associated with action always, even though Atma is nishkriya or without action. Bhagavad Padar gives a description of adhyaasa, superimposition. Body, mind, sense organs, and their actions are superimposed on Atma, who is without any action. After that, Swamiji gave us a very beautiful practical class on meditation. In each of these verses, Shankaracharya brings out a philosophical point as well as its practice. Practice Atma as asanga, as nishkriya, etc. In the last portion of the class, Swamiji mentioned something that is worth noting. This is not actually part of the Atmabodha text. Swamiji pointed out to the trend of today's meditation classes and other Vedanta classes where the charges are very high. People are under the impression that the more expensive the classes are, the more valuable they are. Swamiji clearly expressed his stance on this issue that he does not agree with this approach. This is because Swamiji gives a great deal of value to what he teaches to the students and his opinion that this cannot be valued in terms of monetary calculations. This is important for us to know because jnanis like Swamiji are handing over the jnanam of the Guru Parampara to us. What we can do as seekers of truth is to give Swamiji Guru Dakshina according to each one's capacity with the humble request to accept that and bless us. One small way in which we can show our gratitude and humble appreciation to Swamiji is to first learn what Swamiji has taught us and pass on this knowledge to others. Hari Om Swamiji.
Thank you, Arunaji. Hari Om.
Swamiji, we can't hear you.
Hari Om. There's no problem sets. Let's see. Tapopikshena papanam Shandanam vitaraginam mumukshunamapekshyoyam Atmabodho bhidhiyate Om Shanti 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 Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Eshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krito Vande Bhagavando Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Namo Narayanaya. In Atmabodha, we were discussing about Adhyaasa, the superimposition of Atma. There are so many elements connected with Atma. We wrongly identify with those elements and think that I am that. So the changes happening with the body, mind, intellect, ego, we take as Atma's change, our own change. So now we are talking about the misunderstanding, the wrong apprehension of Atma. Now in this Sloka, the 20th Sloka, all this body, mind, intellect functions are attributed upon Atma because all this equipment, they have no the energy and the consciousness from Atma. What we call it as a reflected consciousness. So now in this Sloka, Bhagavatpada Shankaracharya ji is going to discuss that particular philosophical point. We see the Sloka. Atma Chaitanyamashritya Dehendriyamanodhiyaha Atma Chaitanyamashritya Dehendriyamanodhiyaha Swakriyartheshu vartande Suryalokam yatha janaha. Atma Chaitanyam Ashritya Dehendriya Manodhiyaha. So we already know well about the body, mind, intellect, sense organs, and so on. Deha, Indriya, Mana, Manodhiyaha. So dhi means intellect, buddhi. So all these are functioning with the Atma Chaitanya. The Atma Chaitanya Masritya, depending upon Atma Chaitanya. So Atma Chaitanya Masritya Dehendriya Manodhiyaha. Now this Atma Chaitanya is not different from our own self that we know. And therefore, these functions of all these elements are depending on Atma Chaitanya is well known. We can directly experience that. So Atma Chaitanyam Ashritya. Atma Chaitanya is the base of all the functions. Swakriyartheshu vartante. They engage all these body, mind elements. They engage then themselves in their own respective activities based on Atma. The Swakriyartheshu. Swaswakriya. Their respective activities. They engage themselves with the Chaitanya of Atma. For instance, Suryalokam yatha janaha. This is to illustrate what we are, the idea conveyed here. Suryalokam yatha janaha. Now, when sun rises, all the activities are taken place, and then the energy is also from sunlight. We know whatever happens is in the presence of sunlight only. The Surya Alokam, the light of the sun, is called Surya Loka. Yatha janaha. People do their activities in the presence of sunlight. So now, how we can understand this? This is very easy to understand. So when we meditate on Atma, this can be at another type of meditation. So Suryalokam yathajana. Try to understand how the light of sun works for the people, for the activities of the people. So just imagine that. So sunlight is everywhere. It is like all-pervading consciousness. The self is also all-pervading. Now, sunlight is also same. But closing the eyes, we try to imagine that the sunlight is my own light. It's spreading from my own heart. So feel that the sun is rising in my heart, and that light is spreading outside. Now, in this practice, we don't remember body, we don't think about mind, sense organs, nothing. Only the sunlight is seen, and we identify ourselves with the sunlight. So this practice can be done when in the morning time when sun rises. So we have the first rays of sun, then this meditation can be done. So for that, one has to wake up in the morning, otherwise it won't be possible. So this is a very good morning meditation, Vedantic meditation. So from this, one can feel the energy of light. One can experience the presence of Atma and a special energy in the brain. So this is Surya Loka meditation. So now there is, when we think about this, sometimes the doubt comes, how this outside light can be Atma? Why we want to identify ourselves with Atma, with the light outside? Because this outside light is, of course, it has no qualities of Atma. Especially the outside light is not having the consciousness. It is not conscious. It is inert. So then why we identify with that? So this doubt may come. But to understand that, here Acharya is giving this example, not just like he could find any other example, but he is giving this particular example to indicate that there is a meditation in this. This meditation is called Surya Loka meditation, identifying ourselves with the sun. So you just try to do this for a couple of days. You can see the difference. The all function of mind will change. So a beautiful meditation. So Atma Chaitanyam. Now, when we identify ourselves with that sunlight outside, The sunlight has the quality of that energy, the energy within us and energy outside is the same. Only the two energy, they are functioning differently, but the experience of energy is the same. So this solar energy is converted into many forms. The greenery, what we see, the trees and all those, this is also because of sunlight. We know that if there is no sunlight, there cannot be scenery. So the food what we eat is also because of sunlight. So the whole energy is created from sunlight in different forms. So this we know from even from science. So the same reality or same theory we can use for meditation. So that this is as this is the reality that the sunlight is giving energy to all the all the functions of body, mind, and outside world as well. So this is what the meditation here is. So Surya Lokam Yatha Janaha. Now this is one way of doing this. The another way is the sunlight. Just imagine that sunlight is outside, and then we can meditate on sunlight, and that imagine that the sunlight is entering to my heart. No, it is connecting me with that. So sunlight is slowly, the rays of sunlight is entering to my heart. I am feeling that the warmth of that light. So this can be another type of meditation. So both way we can do. So this identification with the sunlight. So this way, the Atma Chaitanya is ashrayam for all those. Now, the earth, what we see from Atmabodha, we know the earth is also a manifestation of consciousness, Satchidananda, and water and air, fire and the space, everything is manifestation of same consciousness, Satchidananda. So all these five elements, they have different forms, what we see as the manifestation of world, this empirical world. So this is how it is connected, and this is the reality of this manifestation, reality of this creation. Now, this consciousness is inherent in Atma. It's the nature of Atma. Similarly, the light is inherent or the nature of sun. So there is no difference between sun and sunlight. Similarly, here consciousness, there is no difference between consciousness and Atma. So this is something in this context is a little deeper level of understanding. So now, although we are using the word Atma, actually the word doesn't mean anything. It is consciousness only, pure consciousness. So instead of saying pure consciousness, we call it Atma, so that we can identify ourselves with that. Otherwise, when we say consciousness, then it becomes third person. I think you understand in grammar we have third person, second person, first person, like that. So When we say Atma, self, we feel that self is our own nature. So we feel more comfortable and more connected with this word self. That is only difference. Actually, self is nothing but pure consciousness, the inherent consciousness. So this way, this is also another logic we can apply for this meditation, because this is connected to manana. This is not just a meditation that you are sitting and imagining all this. No. Of course, the imagination is there, but we add all this theory and logic to feel the reality there. No, it's something happening in the mind. It's very real. It's not imagined form of anything. So this divinity, the presence of consciousness and the mind's action, and mind and body is illuminated by consciousness, something like this. So all this can be imagined. But yet we have to remember that the outside light has nothing to do with the Atma's light. So there is no comparison with Atma's light and outside light. Although we call it light, Prakasha, Atma Prakasha, Swaprakasha, and all those we say, but outside light is no, outside light has no consciousness. It is inert, like any other element. But the Atma has consciousness. The knowledge of Atma is called light. There is no light in Atma. But for imagination, we bring light. So this is the difference between meditation and the reality what we experience. So this theory should be clearly applied. Otherwise, Atmajnana become an imagination of mind. No, it should not be. Never be like this. So therefore, this knowing the theory correctly is also essential for this meditation. So that is why here Shankaracharya is trying to bring all these characteristics of Atma along with this different meditations. So then we go on for the next verse, next sloka. Dehendriya gunan karmanyamale satchidatmani. Dehendriya gunan karmanyamale satchidatmani. Adhyasyanti avivekena gagane nilatadivat. Dehendriya gunan karmani amale satchidatmani adhyasyanti avivekena. Avivekena. So because of aviveka, non-discrimination. So by non-discrimination, the ignorant people superimpose all these activities on Atma, Satchidatma. This is the main superimposition, what we call Adhyaasa. So Dehendriya Gunan, the qualities, Gunan, qualities and functions of Deha Indriya, mind, no, Deha, body and sense organs, mind as well, all those, the qualities of that. When mind thinks, the thinking process is happening in the mind, we think that I am thinking. So when the functions of all the sense organs, we identify with all these sense organs and say, I am seeing, I am tasting, I am touching and walking, all this. So this is the superimposition with the Dehendriya Guna. So Deha Indriya Guna, Karmani, not only Dehendriya Guna, qualities and functions of body and mind and senses, but also the actions of those. Karmani, because gunas, qualities are there and some actions are there. So those actions are also superimposed. So by this we can take the indriyas, body and mind, all these functions. So all these functions are superimposed, adhyasyanti, on Atma. Now who is that? Amale Satchidatmani. Atma is pure by nature, immaculate by nature. In that immaculate Atma, pure Atma, which has no qualities or nothing is there, no functions, nothing is there, but we superimpose everything on Atma. So Amale, in that pure Atma, and that is also Satchit Atmani. Atma is only existence and knowledge. Sat, existence. Chit means consciousness. And in that Atma, we apply all these functions. So this is called Adhyaasa. Why it happens? Because of non-discrimination, aviveka, by ignorance. Deha Indriya Gunan Karmani Amale Satchitatmani Adhyasyanti Avivekena Gagane Nilatadivat. Gagana means sky. So the children, they don't know what is the nature and character of sky. What is sky, they don't know. So they superimpose color, the blueness, they superimpose Neela, the blue color they superimpose. And not only that, they sometimes they see some shape there. Shape also, some shape and color and all this in sky. But in reality, sky has no color and no cavity, no shape, nothing. But we see all those. So Gagane Nilatadivat. Nilata means the blue color. So we see. So similarly, notwithstanding Atma's being conscious of nature, we apply all these qualities, functions on Atma, and then feel bad about it, miserable about it, and always think that this is happening to me, that is happening to me, it should not happen, and all this we apply into Atma. Actually, Atma is totally free of all this function. So now take one by one. What happens to body? A body has all these changes. Sometimes it has diseases and some so many problems. So take all this and take one by one and try to understand where it is happening, how it is happening. So by basic knowledge of physiology and psychology and all these functions, even with that knowledge, we know this is happening in purely in physical body, or sometimes with mind. Now, in this context, we can separate body and mind first. So whatever happening, let it be there in the body. We don't push and take it up to mind. So let mind work freely. So mind has some qualities to understand things outside objects and suggest us to take those objects. So the Atma, the self, see those objects and identify them and enjoy with those objects. So this is the function of mind, disconnecting sense organs with the outside objects. So this is different function, and the bodily function, physical function is different. So when we separate both this function, we could solve so many problems. Even this with this simple discrimination of body, mind, function. This misidentification with those, mixing one with another, is making so many unnecessary problems. So when something happens to body, physical body, mind takes it as it is happening to the mind. So we can we understand what is happening there, but there is no need to connect with that. We can see as an object. It is like something happening outside, something happening to some object which is separate from us. So it can be separated like that. So this is a discrimination technique. Now, actually, we could say here that when we practice this discrimination, Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, and all this, we can think that when body is sitting, there is a meditation technique in yoga tradition also. So they say when you sit, try to observe the body is separate from you. It means I am sitting, but I'm imagining or thinking like that somebody else is sitting, I am watching, I am looking on that body. So body becomes separate. That this meditation can bring that separation. So similarly, when mind is in action, mind is thinking about something, some good thing, some bad thing, or whatever. So see, the mind is an object. Mind is an instrument which is working for this. So we can make mind an object, and the Atma can be the observer of mind, the witness of mind. So similarly with prana and all other functions. So with this meditation, we can clearly bring a discrimination tendency of this practice. So when we constantly practice this with all our actions, so this clear discrimination will come. And only by practice we can do this. Because when we learn Vedanta, the theory is okay. It has logic, it has some practical sense and everything. But without practice, it doesn't stay in us. It cannot be used for our own growth. And growth, I mean by practice of this spiritual growth. So therefore, first separate the functions of mind and functions of body and try to observe them. And first bodily observation, and then making the mind as object, objectify the mind, and then watch the mind, what is happening. It's like when you watch TV, so you know what is happening there as an object. So try to make the mind as TV. You are watching a picture, film there. So just to see that, so you can see all the functions separate from Atma. So this is the how we can practice here. So Gagane Neelatadivan. Why Acharya brought this example, Gagana. Gagana means sky. Because sky has no color, sky has no shape, no rupa, no color, nothing. But we imagine all those there. Or we see blue color in the sky. So there is no chance of color, but we see it. This is a visual problem. No, we see all those there. So therefore, he brought this. Atma is also like a sky. There is no nama, there is no shape, there is no color, there is no action in Atma. But we see all those in Atma. This is the difficulty here. Now the next sloka, the 22nd sloka. Ajnanatmanasopadhe kartritvadini chatmani. Ajnanatmanasopadhe kartritvadini chatmani. Kalpyante mbugade chandre chalanadi yatham bhasaha. The same idea is conveyed with a different example. No. To illustrate that, Ajnanat manasobadhehe kartritvandini chatmani kalpyante ambugade chandre chalanadi yadam bhasaha. So Ajnanat manasobadhe. Ajnanat, due to self-ignorance. So, ajnanat, manasa upaadhehe. Mind is an instrument that we know all this. Mind is manasa as upaadhi, a limiting adjunct for Atma. So limiting adjunct means, upaadhi means, when we see Atma through mind, when we use our thought process to realize Atma, to know Atma, Atma would be seen in that form. So if a person who has no good qualities, he is a good person, and his mind is relaxed, he has all the sattvika vrittis. With that, when he tried to recognize himself, identify himself, he will identify himself as a good being. No. So he will feel that. So then that is one experience of Atma. And the same person, when get angry, so he is agitated with the anger. So in that stage, now the mind is agitated with anger. So he will see, he will experience himself as an angry person. So he will see that I am angry now. Now, similarly with all other emotions. So when you have the experience of love, the feeling of love in the mind, so you will see Atma as love there. And when the mind is passionate, so then the Atma will also become passionate. And when mind is compassionate, and Atma will also become compassionate. So what happens here? Now what is Atma? Atma has no qualities. All these qualities are brought by mind. It's these qualities are different functions of mind, upaadhis. So therefore it is said that this mind is limiting adjunct, because mind is limiting with its own functions, and then Atma is identified with that. So this is something very miserable happening with our mind relation with the consciousness. Now, normally we are unable to control this. Now, when some emotion comes to the mind, we are unable to control, because we identify ourselves, our mind identifies with that, and that will happen for that moment. So this is unavoidable. It seems to be unavoidable. Let it be there. But after that, so let one emotion arise up and take action, and then after that it goes. Let it go. But after that, we can think about that. Where it happens. I was angry, and this angry came from where? So just contemplate on that. This is after the emotion happened. So then even in that case, we know clearly this was there in the mind. It came, it was the function of mind. There is no connection with me. So this can be understood. This is so clear. Therefore, it is real. And Atma cannot be one with the function of mind, because Atma is all-pervading. It cannot be only with the mind. Therefore, Manasa Upadhi is the functions of mind, or the limiting adjunct, is identified with Atma because of ignorance, self-ignorance. So Manasopadhehe, Ajnanad Manasopadhehe, Kartritvadini cha Atmani. Kartritva, the doership. So with that doership and enjoyership, everything is added there with Atma. Who is that Atma? Who is doing? I say, I am doing. I am enjoying. I know that. Yeah, all that we normally say this. So kartritvadini chatmani. Kalpyante. This is Acharya is using this word. This is all attributed or applied. It is not, it's not there. So kalpyande ambugade chandre chalanadi yadambhasaha. The moon reflected on water. If we see that, we could see in the full moon day, on water, moon is reflected. Maybe in the river or some lake or somewhere. The moon reflected on water seems to be moving in motion. How? Because the ambhasaha chalanati. What is moving there? The water is moving. The water is in motion. And the reflected moon is also seems to be moving and in motion. The same thing happens here. Mind is in action. Mind has all these functions, or kartatva, bhoktritva, and all this. And Atma, of course, Atma is reflected there. And this reflection, we don't see the reflection, we see only the function. Because comparatively, the function of mind is more gross. So therefore, it is obvious to us that mind is functioning, but we see Atma is functioning. And Atma is subtler than mind. So Atma is not experienced separately. We have no experience till today. Therefore, we take the functions of the changes in mind as Atma's functions and Atma's changes. So this is what is this is what is happening here. Something is identified with something else, like that. So therefore, chalanadi yadambhasaha. The ambhas, the water, is moving, and the reflected Chandra, reflected moon, is also moving with water. There is no movement in moon, because this is the comparison. Therefore, the meditation here is, as I said, try to see the functions of mind. And when mind has all these functions, let it be there, because in that moment when mind is functioning or acting, mind has some agitation. We are unable to control that and remove that. It's not possible, because the removal process also done by mind. Why it is not happening, you know that? The reason is, we can just say mind has two parts. No, just for the sake of understanding, in order to make some sense to understand that, we can say that mind has two parts. So one part of mind is agitated, the other part of the mind is observing the agitation, trying to control the agitation. Now, actually what happens when the agitated mind overpowers the observing mind, then the reactions of agitation will appear, when all the damages will happen. And if the observing mind, that part of mind, can overpower the agitated mind, then we can control the agitation and take some other action. We can engage ourselves in some other actions. We can just withdraw from there, or all this can happen. So all this happens in a very, very minute, very what you say, the very momentary actions, all this. So there is no time to change this. So in one moment, everything will happen. So if we practice this separation, or try to understand these mental actions, as I said, after agitation, if we contemplate on that, how this agitation happens. For this contemplation, one has to control the ego. The person has to understand that my ego is making all this, and therefore I have to control my ego. So this is very important. But after that, once we can think about that, how mind is agitated, what is the reason, and where the agitation happens. So this is the meditation here, contemplation here. Now it's not only with the agitation, even with all other stages of meditation. When we meditate, so while meditating, during the meditation also, we can think, who is meditating? Atma is meditating or mind is meditating? So who is the meditator? So Atma cannot meditate. Lelayativa, dhyayativa, lelayativa. The Upanishad says, Atma never meditates. The mind is meditating. Body is sitting in a posture and mind is meditating. So this meditation is also happening there. So it's not only with the agitated mind, but also with the other functions. So this is how it happens. Now, when we think about mind, we know that when mind is functioning, not mind alone is function. Mind has some other support. That support is reflected consciousness. Like here, the water, the movement in the water, and the moonlight is reflected there. So similarly, mind has the reflected consciousness. and let it be there, because we can't do anything with this. Only we can meditate on mind, how mind works. So mind is the meditator here in this sense, and mind is meditated on. So both are happening here. So like I said, mind is observing the agitated mind. One mind is observing the other mind. One part of mind is observing the other part of mind. So this is the separation of two functions, actually two different functions of mind. And here Atma has no role. Atma is reflected there, that's right, but Atma has no role. Atma is not meditating, Atma is not observing, Atma is not doing anything. Atma is totally different from all this. So this is the meditation prescribed here. For this, what we discussed, at another example, Ragecha sukha dukkhati buddho satyam pravartate. Ragecha sukha dukkhati buddho satyam pravartate. Sushupto nasti tannashe tasmad buddhestu natmanaha. As I said just now, all these are happening in buddhi, in mind. Na atmanaha. It's not of the atma. Tasmad buddhestu na atmanaha. So therefore, all these are happening in buddhi, in intellect only, in the mind only. So what are they? Just raga, ichcha, sukha, dukkha. I think most of you understand all these words. Raga means passion, ichcha, desire, sukha, pleasure, enjoyment, dukkha, pain, sorrow. So raga, ichcha, sukha, dukkhadi, all these emotions. Buddhau satyam pravartate. When these emotions appear, when mind or intellect is functioning, buddhau satyam pravartate. Buddhau means mind, satyam pravartate. When intellect works, functions, these emotions can appear. What does it mean? Then it means all these emotions are happening in buddhi. Atma has no connection with that. But this buddhi, the intellect, is based on Atma. By that, the same reflection theory. So because Atma is reflected in this Sattik buddhi, and in that buddhi, then that intellect, all this passion, desire, pleasure, pain, and all other emotions are taken place. Okay, how we know this? How we can understand this? So is giving an argument, or what we say, and a logic that by which we can understand this. Sushuptau nasti tannashe. He says, you see the experience of deep sleep. We know this, the experience of deep sleep we have discussed elaborately before. So sushuptau nasti tannashe. Tannashe means when there is no play of intellect. There is no play of intellect. Nothing is experienced. Sushupte tannashe nasti. So when we go to deep sleep, there is no attachment, there is no icha, no desire, no sukha, no dukkha, no passionable, no desirable, no pleasurable, nothing is there. So what happens? What happened to all this? Because all those were in intellect, those were the function of intellect. Therefore, when intellect is not functioning, all those disappears. So all this is the play of intellect. So they play their part. When intellect is functioning, they play their part. Now intellect is not functioning, so these emotions has no substance. So tasmat, therefore, buddhestu natmanaha. Therefore, these functions are in buddhi. It has nothing to do with Atma. Because Atma is like sunlight reflected on this intellect, and by that intellect is working, and not only working, we experience the existence of intellect because of Atma. When intellect is in waking state, it gives all these effects. It brings all these effects. And in deep sleep, when buddhi is not there, it disappears itself, and all these functions also disappear. So sushuptau nasti tannase tasma buddhistu na atmanaha. So we can say here, where there is buddhi, then the functions are there. All these raga dvesha functions are there. And where there is no buddhi, no intellect, no function. Therefore, these functions are centralized, or the cause of these functions is buddhi only. So let it be there in buddhi. Let it be there in intellect. Don't connect these functions with Atma. So this is the knowledge conveyed here. So we have to separate this. So today what we discussed from the Sloka 20 to 23rd, almost all these three slokas, we discussed the same idea in different, with different examples and different forms. We can do the same meditation of this discrimination, viveka, like one other meditation we did, and Suryaloka, similar meditation we can do. So try to separate all these functions, and then separate Atma as an observer. So I think we can stop here for today. If you have any question, we can ask. Hari Om. Over to you for questions. Today, Kamalaji and Jyotiji, they are all here in Uttarakashi. Who is managing this room?
If there is any question, please ask Swamiji. Hariom Swamiji, I want to ask for a question.
Please carry on.
Swamiji, that in Prashnopanishad also it says, no, in presence of the Aditya, the whole beings are activated. Is it the same idea?
Yes,
what we have to understand here also?
This is not something special. It's very simple that we know this. Now we know that, but now in this practice, we make it as a sadhana for meditation, because every day we see sunlight, but we won't see the meditation there. We cannot meditate on that sunlight. Now we practice that meditation. So sunlight is also from Atma. The light is from Atma, and how sunlight is spread over all the functions and movements of the creation. Similarly, the Atma Prakasha also is all-pervading and giving energy to the functions of body and mind.
Thank you,
Swamiji.
It's very simple
I
meditation.
will ask a question.
Every day you could sit for 20 minutes or 30 minutes in sunlight and do this. It's very nice for health and mind. No, you get so much energy. It's like you are not enjoying the sunlight. While enjoying, you are meditating on sunlight. Surya Loka.
Hariom Swamiji.
Yes.
I have a question, but not related to today's topic, Swamiji.
Yeah, you can ask.
Okay, so there is this
Because
story
because we don't have other questions, so you can ask.
No, this is about Indra approaching Brahma for the Gnanam. And so he tells 32 years, 32 years, 32 years. And then at the end, after 5 years, so 101 years later, only he understands. I want to know, what is he meant by understanding? Because we also know we are Atma, but of course we are not putting it into practice. So what did it mean that he understood only then?
It means you need to practice tapasya for that. Because for 101 year, what he was doing, he went to his guru and did some surveys, some penance, and some practices there as sadhana. Then at last he could understand. Even Indra did this tapas for these many years. So when we hear that, we feel though we could also do that. We should also do this by by tapasya and all those practices, then we can get that knowledge. So this is the meaning there. Not only in this story, other stories also say the same thing. So they did tapasya for 1,000 years and like that. There are so many stories in Puranas. So all these stories say the same, because so much intense practice and dedication necessary for this achievement, for this knowledge achievement. So this is what meant there. And when
So
he
that is to
purifies,
abide in the knowledge. That's what he
yeah,
meant.
yes, correct.
Just not to understand.
Just listening to it once, it doesn't work. No, the same upadesha. The thing there we can understand is in that story, Prajapati, the guru, Brahmaji, did the same upadesha repeatedly. He's not changing the upadesha. Like Tattvamasi, 9 times the same upadesha. Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, Tattvamasi Shvetaketu, Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. The teacher is repeating that, the same words of Veda, but the student is changing his mind by practice. It means when his mind is purified, he is getting the same knowledge from the same upadesha. So this the purification of mind makes the difference. That is what is said there. So it is interesting that even in Vedantic Upanishad or Vedantic sadhana, we need to practice that is necessary. Without that practice, just by Shravana, just by listening to it, it doesn't make any difference. The practice is required. So the essential requirement is practice. That is what it says. Okay.
Namaskara, Swamiji. Can I ask
Yeah,
doubt?
please.
People, what is your take on the dream analysis? I can right from younger age also I have heard people say if you see a wedding in your dream, that means something bad is going to happen. Seeing funeral is a good sign. Or if you see, like a serpent, then it means this. Is there any meaning in this kind of?
It's a fantastic theory regarding this dream. No, if you want to study this in Jyotisham, we have a shastra called Jyotishastra. In that, there is a textbook. Swapna Shastra is there. So it is a part of Jyotisham. So if you study that, all these signs and what they mean and everything is described there. It's a different subject. Similarly, some of the Puranas also, they describe this dream experiences. It's very interesting how it works. If you observe, we can see that there are some realities are there. Something is real there, and some connections are there, and some are connected with the dream, and some real observation and real experience is also there. And dream is the form of mind, like we say vasana, the previous tendencies and impressions in the mind, they appear in different forms. So it has some theory, some established theories there, how it works. Even in Upanishads, some places they take this example of dream. And in Chandogya, Brihadaranyaka, there are some stories of dream. So it is a different subject. If you want to study, you can get those dream study books in our Bharatiya philosophy, in Indian philosophy also we get that, and especially in Buddhism also they have so many books on this. They have meditation techniques on this, and all those are there.
Sometimes some stories are also there that some Raja saw in dream the special child is going to be born. This kind of things also in Purana. There are many stories.
So many things. So many things. It's as well as
The phenomenon before
fantastic theory of that, how it works. It has no scientific what you say. We cannot prove it by science or by reasoning, by any other thing. So it's happening, but we can experience that. There is something. It's connected to most of the functions are connected to psychology as well. So some parts are there in psychology, but
something.
Yeah.
Something which is in our subconscious mind. Does it?
Yeah, correct. It's just all functions of the subconscious mind.
Okay.
Subconscious
Okay.
mind. Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Oh.
Hariom Swamiji, I have a question, not directly to this class. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
While Atma is always we talk as immortal, at the same time in our scriptures, we use the term as Atmahatya for the suicide. Even in the scriptures, why we are using that word as Atmahatya, while it is immortal?
You see, like the word Atma can be used for body, used for mind, it can be used for intellect, ego, in all different senses. All the five koshas are Atma. And Atmahatya is actually what we say nowadays, what we call as suicide. It's not directly discussed in this sense in scriptures. So we have another word, Atmahana, Atmahanajana. The word is the meaning almost the same. In Ishavasya Upanishad, we see this Atmahana, the word Atmahana. In Bhagavatam also it is used, Atmahana, as the same sense. Atmahana means like one who kills Atma. That's what it means. But it is not in that sense. This Atma is different. If you are not knowing Atma, the nature of Atma, and you have no idea of Atma, and you are superimposing all that is not Atma. No, Anatma and Atma. So you are superimposing Anatma, non-Atma on Atma. Then what happens? It's like you are killing your Atma. That's what it says. So one should know the nature of Atma, then the Atma is protected and Atma is protecting. And if one sees non-Atma as Atma, then you are killing Atma. So that is what we say. No, when sometimes if people are not kind enough, by doing such things, people say that they are not human beings. Why they say that? Because they are not acting as a human. They are not keeping their qualities of a human being. So if this is like same thing. So you are not directly taking that, but it's the indirect and implied meaning. Similarly, nobody can kill Atma, because achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo ashoshayevacha nitya sarvagadasthanu rachaloyam sanatana. It's said in Bhagavad Gita, you cannot kill Atma with no weapon. You cannot burn Atma. You cannot do anything with Atma. Tachedyaha, Adhyaasa, Akledyaha, Asosya, all this. But we say Atma is dead. But body is dead, we call it Atma dead. But Atma is not dying. The body is dying. So in that sense, sometimes the word Atma is used for body, physical body. The word Atma is used for mind as well. So this is, it makes the difference. Okay.
Thank you.
Shall I
Any
ask
other
a doubt?
question?
Yeah, shall I
Hello?
ask a doubt? Hello.
Yes. Hello. Please ask.
Yeah, I'm Jayasri. Pranam Swamiji.
Pranam.
So after hearing these classes, my understanding is that actually we are having the realization in the mind. Once the mind gets purified, the mind realizes, the intellect realizes that the Brahman, about the Brahman and unity. It is like that.
Correct.
But in other systems like yogic system or in Sri Vidya system and all, they use this Kundalini. They have the concept of Kundalini raising to Sahasraram, then having the experience of Samadhi or that Amrita Plavanam, that concept. They have that Brahmanandam. So, but in Vedanta, they experience something like that because in Vedanta, that understanding comes in mind, in intellect. So, what is the difference in between these two?
Actually, there is only difference regarding with the practice. The effect is the same. No, as if somebody is sleeping, he is getting natural sleep. There is no sleeping pills or no medicine taken. So he also gets sleep. And if you take some pills and something, that person also gets sleep. But in the experience of sleep, there is no difference. But the method you used or before sleep, there is difference. Similarly, the samadhi, what we call as the experience of Atma, because samadhi has so many meanings. I'm taking the real meaning of samadhi. Samadhiyate asmin nidhi samadhi. Like in Yoga Sutra, they say drashto swarupa avasthan. So it's called swarupa samadhi. So when we get that samadhi, there is no difference because all those method and practices are outside of that. Like after sleep, it makes no difference that you took pills or you are not taking that, or you took some drugs or alcohol. It doesn't make any difference. All those effects are there in the body, because if we take sleeping pills, it has some side effect in the body and brain. And if you have taken alcohol or any other drugs, it has some side effect there. And if it has natural sleep, it has some good effect in the body. So this makes the difference. But in the state of sleep, there is no difference, because the mind is there sleeping, and it is in the stage of in the calmness, and that stage is experienced there. And now regarding this Kundalini Shakti, say concept as you referred, it's based on Hatha Yoga and some Tantra Yoga Agama Granthas. This is this function of, or all this effect of this Kundalini is connected to physiology as well as the pranic level. And then, of course, all this goes to mind. And when we talk about Vedanta, not we are talking only with the mind. Mind is an instrument. Mind is an instrument for Vedanti. Mind is an instrument for yogi, and mind is an instrument for even for another upasakas or tantric upasaka, any other practice. So mind is an instrument, and the purification of mind is necessary in all these sadhanas, and without that nothing can happen. If without that mind, purified mind, if somebody gets something, some experiences, it will not stay. It will be like a flash. It's some experience will come, and then sometimes you have some effect, and then you are losing it, and all those will happen. And sometimes the same sadhaka will be depressed after this experience. So that's not a right way, because after a long practice, you get some experience, and that experience is not staying with you, then what does it mean? And after effect, you will feel some depression and all those problems, and mind is down. So then what does it mean? So there are so many methods, direct methods, indirect methods, and shortcuts, and there are so many things. But it is not stable. That's what the thing is. Therefore, the Kundalini practice or yoga practice or Vedanta practice or any other kind of meditation, it's all connected with mind only. And how you are reaching there to that stage is different. It means paths are different, practices are different. The effect is the same. And Vedanta talks something beyond that, beyond mind and intellect. This is the speciality of Vedanta. So it goes beyond all this physiology and psychology effects. So therefore, that's what we call as Satchidananda, Brahma, and this existence and consciousness and all this. And it has all this connection with the body as well.
Swamiji, also one doubt. I have heard about this different type of samadhi, sabija samadhi, nirvija samadhi, savikalpa samadhi, and all, nirvikalpa samadhi, etc. So these are different levels of mind, or this is for Vedanta. For a Vedanti, these steps are mentioned, or
no. This is based on yoga philosophy. You can find all these terms and technical terms in Patanjala Yoga Darshana. It's not even in Hatha Yoga. It is in Patanjala Yoga Darshana. So you want to know about this in detail? We have our YouTube channel. My lectures are there, or in Malayalam, in English, and Hindi on Patanjala Yoga Darshana. I have published Patanjala Yoga Darshana Vyasa Bhashyam book in Malayalam. If you understand Malayalam, you can buy that book and read. Or if you understand other languages, you can go to our Adi Shankara Brahmavidya this channel, YouTube channel, and playlist. You can find all these lectures. There are so many lectures basically on this subject. So you can listen to it. You will be clear with these differences, because there are some connection with samadhi and some ekagrata and samprajnada, savidarka, nirvidarka, savichara, vichara, and all those are there. And so this is all technical things. It's basically from Patanjala Yoga Darshana.
So what are the levels? So what are the levels Vedanta goes through? Because we have different clear steps for other systems and all. But for Vedanta, what are from the initial steps to final level? What are the different stages, or what are the different steps that Vedanta passes through? Experiences.
So actually, Vedanta has no steps. Vedanta is talking directly about Brahman. So since Brahman has no parts, Brahman is all-pervading and the same. Now, to reach there, we have some practices. It starts from Karma Yoga or Nitya Anusthana, the basic practices of Karma Yoga. Then we can practice some Bhakti Yoga. It's all according to the practitioner. We call it Adhikari. The eligibility of practitioner. So he can start from Karma Yoga. If he is not eligible for Jnana and Bhakti, so he can start from there and reach the same goal. And if he start with the Bhakti Yoga, if he is eligible for that, Nitya Karma, Anusthana, and like that, so he can also go. And by Japa, Dhyana, and all these are discussed in Vedanta, especially in Bhagavad Gita. And even Hatha Yoga, all the Vedantins, they practice yoga, asanas, pranayama and everything. So it's all connected. So this method, when we talk, it's purely according to the eligibility of the practitioner. So that is very important. So we cannot, we don't, or in Vedanta, we don't subscribe a special method for this because it is not generalized. So it cannot be generalized. It's according to the student of the practitioner. So the guru will decide that from where to start and what is his mind and how he could reach that goal. So he take that student and understand the student and then gives the whatever he could practice. Accordingly, he practices and reaches the goal.
So we have to approach a guru actually if we have to start on this path.
Yeah, right. You are right. That's like, if you have some problem, you approach a doctor. So the doctor see you and find out what is the problem and then subscribe accordingly. The same thing happens here. It's not only in Vedanta, but all other shastras, even in Hatha Yoga and Raja Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, everywhere you need to see a guru, a person who is a good practitioner and who has some experiences and a well-learned person on that particular subject. Then he can direct you for the practice.
Okay. Thank you,
Okay.
Swamiji. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Swamiji, there is a question on chat also. Pranam Swamiji, during the monthly cycle for ladies, can we use the pain as point of focus and just be the seer of the pain, or can we go deeper? Because I have read that we should not do any spiritual practice that brings our energy upwards.
Yes, this is actually when we call a spiritual practice, this is in connection with Karma Kanda. In the Karma Kanda, I think you all understand that. Or the religious practice, we can say. Those practices should not be practiced in these days. But for meditation or the inner japa and all those, that we can do. But no pranayama, no other things. So because body should not have any disturbance. If some pranayama or something is practiced, there can be some hormonal problem, some reactions and some effect on mind. No, this can happen. Therefore, purely just doing a simple kind of meditation and some simple japa and some reading some good books, all this can be done, but not the physical practices and pranayama, which needs other elements of body, because it may disturb the hormonal cycle which is happening there. It may disturb that. Therefore, it should not be practiced. And of course, when we do other religious practices, so it needs some other some more purity there, or whatever we say, some shuddhada and all those. So it's normally we don't do those things. Actually, in those days, 3-4 days, one should stay without very much actions, physical actions, because physical actions may make some complications like that. It's proved by science, medical science, as well as in Ayurveda, and all of this, our ladies, they can experience this directly, what is happening in those days. So it's very simple in this case.
Swamiji. Hello.
Okay. Can we conclude?
Swamiji, Swamiji, am I audible? Hello?
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Swamiji, I have been listening to your darshan.
So your voice is very low, very difficult.
I have one question. Oh, I see. Let me change.
It's not audible.
Am I audible now, Swamiji? Okay. I'll say. Yeah, is it audible now? No. Okay. Okay, maybe I'll send a message.
Yeah, you can. You may write the question because it's not audible.
Now you can. Okay. I'll send my question. Okay, Swami.
Okay. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Om Purnamataha Purnamitam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Narayana.